Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo, Quieren pensar,
Testing,
sin ni
1, 2, 3,
siquiera
testing.
estar al mando. Tanta publicidad subliminal te está matando. Les cuesta decidir por sí mismos cuál es su mando. Publican sonrisas con el corazón llorando. Quieren brillar, pero sin tener que valerse de tener sus ideas propias. Veo a todos igual, solo son la réplica de la imitación de una triste copia. Obedece, la vida es un suspiro y envejeces. Te dejas distraer por estupideces y pierdes el eje. Te duele por dentro, entonces te creces, pero aceptas mucho menos de lo que mereces. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Conserva tu juicio y tu intuición, más activos que el que lucha por lo suyo y no se rinde. Yo ya sé bien cuál es mi misión, y es contarte que el mal por su propio pie pronto se extingue. Pero caigas bajo su control, pues por la televisión es normal que mal lo pinte. Tú mantente firme en conexión con la fuente de creación, vivirás siempre de fin de. Dios abre los ojos, dime lo que ves. A tus propios hijos matándose por billetes. Niños mueren cada 2 por 3. Pa' unos es bendición, con otros por su causa pequen. Y yo que intento ser un ser crístico, voy bendiciendo hasta los diablos. Piensan que es cierto el mensaje típico. Dicen que invento lo del engaño. Y mientras lucho contra mis errores, demonios escucho, me ofrecen soluciones. Pero sé que hay un ángel que quiere que mejore. Me dice haz un trabajo interno antes de que lo ignores. Antes que otra vez llores y se llenen los mares de pena y de dolores, ya que en mi mente no caben. La paz no va en un sobre, somos algo importante. Nunca te revelaste y por eso no lo sabes. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido, no. Todos repiten lo que dice el referente. Discursos vacíos lejos de ser coherentes. De lo que no sabes será mejor que no inventes. Que investigues y no te dejes lavar la mente. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo,
Hey, shalom, family. Shalom. It's your brother Emmanuel again. Let me get situated here. I'm trying to reorganize the office. I'm about to move. So All praises for that. I guess we got one body. All praises, whoever you are. Appreciate you being here today. Anyhow, today's class is called. Well, I had done something similar before, but I figured let me touch on it now with a little more understanding, a little more clarity. And I think before the first class was back when I think it was like June or July, maybe or August. So, with a little more understanding, a little more patience, obviously, I would like to touch this subject again. Okay. It's basically, I didn't really have a title for it, to be honest with you. So I just named it The Friend of God, Abraham, or Abraham, the Friend of God. Okay. So, anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over I'm going to skim through some things. I'm obviously going to read scripture. I'm gonna show you a video, and I try to find another school that would talk about this topic, but not many schools even mention him, honestly. And then the only one that I found was IUIC, and it was I don't know what school, what camp they're from, I guess, what state. It's a young dude, and well, they put him up there, so apparently they think he knows what he's talking about. Anyhow, we're gonna start off with that, but before I do, let me go ahead and you know what I mean. And I told you I was gonna record it, so let me play it now. Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of the United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law. Okay, perfect. So now, why am I doing the class in the morning? Because I'm not going to be able to in the afternoon. Something came up, and I have to basically get prepared. Because again, like I said, we're moving, so we're basically, I got to take care of some stuff. All right, and it happened last night. So anyhow, let's start off with the video, and we're gonna go through. Let's say we'll start at 3 minutes. Like 3 to 5 minutes. 2 minutes. We'll start at the third minute. Um, Give me a second. And again, it's not necessarily this school. I'm not targeting IUIC. I sincerely was looking for any other school that would talk about this subject, and I didn't find any. Okay, so I'm not trying to be dismissive or luring somebody, or I'm being deceptive and trying to create hate. No, like I said, I looked for it, no, couldn't find it, and I was not going to go to the so-called white man because I already know they're not explaining anything. So I thought, well, let me see if these guys maybe might be able to. So I listened to them, and here's their explanation of things. Okay, so let me be quiet. We'll run to the fifth minute. It's regarding Abraham.
Knowledge of God. So this class is going to increase y'all in the knowledge of God. All right, so let's go to Genesis 11 and 27. The seed of Abraham.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram.
Right, so Terah begat Abram. We will later know him as Abraham, but right here he's Abram. All right, the son of Terah. Read.
Nahor in Haran. And Haran begat Lot.
Read.
And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees.
So it says the land of the nativity was Ur of the Chaldees. So where was Abram at first? In Ur of the Chaldees. Let's get Judith chapter 5 in verse 1.
So now the question is why? Okay, it's mentioned, but why was he there in the first place? Why wasn't he in Africa or in Europe or up in Russia or up in China? Why was he sojourning in the Ur of the Chaldees? Let's continue.
Judith chapter 5 and verse 1. Make sure y'all follow. This is one of them classes where you can't pop in and pop out. and expect to know what the hell going on. Everything gonna tie in together throughout the full course of the class. Judah 5:1.
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then was it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur.
Holofernes. Go ahead.
Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur.
Hey, shalom, fam. I again, let me remind y'all, you two both that are listening. Appreciate y'all being here. The topic is Abraham, the friend of God. I was trying to find a different, like any kind of school that would teach this subject regarding Abraham. I wasn't gonna go to the white man, so-called white man, and listen to their Christian doctrine on them. They don't really know. They don't know what they're talking about. Not really. So I figured, let me see who I can find. I only found IUIC. Okay, GMS, ISUPK, Zakari. I couldn't find anything. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not targeting them. Okay, just again, it's a topic. This is their breakdown. This is what they're saying regarding Abraham and all of that stuff. Okay, well, let's find out what they're saying. Where they're reading Judith, which we're gonna touch eventually.
That the children of Israel had prepared for war and had shut up the passages of the hill country and had fortified all the tops of the high hills and had laid impediments in the campaign countries.
Right. So this chief captain is in charge of this army that's going through and conquering and defeating all these lands, all these nations. But he come up on Israel and he sees all type of.
So basically, Judith 5 is just talking about that there's some other nation. Like, wait a minute, who are you guys? What they're about? They're inquiring about our people. Okay.
Hills fortified and protected, and he's like, man, what the hell are these damn hills? You know what I'm saying? What's up? Read
verse 2. Wherewith.
Let me fast forward this because they're gonna go through the story here. Let me see.
Country. And what are the cities that they inhabit? Yeah. Inhabited no tree. I did them out of the mouth of the
history of the Israelites. Read.
And there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
Read.
This people are descendant of the Chaldeans.
I remember that. Descendant of the Chaldean. These words matter. Descendant. Why descendant? Why? And then why just walk over that? Watch this.
What?
Of the Chaldeans.
They are descendant of the Chaldeans. Why did he say that? Eliakim.
Check. Shalom, leadership. He said that because Abraham, Abram, his father was Terah in Haran and died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldees. So he was saying that was the lineage that we came from.
He said that's the lineage that we came from. And watch how he responds to it.
He was just going back to Abram.
Okay, was it that was the what that we came from?
I'm sorry?
That was the what that we came from?
The lineage.
That ain't quite the word.
Or the land.
Land.
Okay, I don't know the psychological word for this, but that's leading. I know that in law it's leading the witness. Okay, so if you are lawyers of the law, then you are leading the witness here. All right, you asked a question and it wasn't defined properly. It says descendants of the Chaldees. So the question is why? Now they walk over it. I'm only going to show a few more seconds, a few more, and then I said we're going to move on.
The land. Remember, he said that's the land of their nativity.
Right.
That's where they was dwelling at in Chaldee, in the land of the Chaldees.
Right.
All right. Go back to Genesis 11.
All right, now he's going to Genesis 11. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, so we're clear on that. So that's their interpretation of the scriptures. Now, hey, by the way, guys, I want to show you his background. All right. Me personally, this is my thorn in the flesh. I need this reminder every day because I know that I have a lot at stake. And if I submit myself ever to this again, then I'm locked in and God knows what would happen. I'll become a reprobate. Who knows? He's already given me enough warnings. I don't have time to play around. So that's what you see in the background. It's not the class, okay? So in case I go back and forth and you come in late, hopefully they understand. Hopefully people listen. Anyhow, so let's go ahead and continue. Let's go to Proverbs. Let's start the class, all right? So let's go to Proverbs chapter 1 in verse 1. It says, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom. Let me repeat that again. Verse 2 and 3 say instruction twice. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, meaning being fair, being firm, being just, being wise, being disciplined, being well instructed, to give subtlety to the simple. So to the Jew, I'm a Jew. You know the law, I'm going to talk to you like somebody that knows the law. To the Greek, to the Gentile, so to speak, in the Gentile state of mind, I'm going to be subtle. Subtlety to the simple. To the young man, knowledge and discretion. Why? Because he needs to know the example of what a man is supposed to be like. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. So you brother, you sister, or you brethren that are listening, whatever we're listening to you today, you are supposed to increase the learning that you get from me today. It's of the Most High, obviously. I'm only an instrument, all praises. If I can even be that, man, believe me, better than what I used to be. A wise man will hear, meaning he did not just listen and not apply. He will hear and will increase learning, meaning he'll listen and apply. And a man of understanding shall. I lost my thought. Where am I at? I need my glasses, guys. My apologies. Let me go back. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. Now, is this wise counsel? Yeah. Verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise in their dark sayings. The only way this happens is the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So the only way you get this is by instructions, meaning by discipline, meaning that you are supposed to be what? Meek. That's why the scriptures talk about Moses being the most meek man, meaning that he was the most disciplined. He listened. He listened to the Most High, regardless of what his personal thoughts were. Okay? For now, we go to Revelations chapter 3, verse 10. And it reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. So that's something that always stood out to me. Why the hour of temptation? If we've had the so-called white image for more than 500 years, it says here, I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So are you saying, One West, that 5 minutes or 1 hour is 500 years? Where does the Bible say that? So my question is more of, what's this last hour, which shall be upon the whole world? And we're starting to see it. We're starting to see it because we already dealt with one. We dealt with one Jesus. Now we're dealing with another one. Matthew 24. Then, if any man shall say unto you, lo, here's Christ, or there, believe it not. IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari, GMS. I believe Sakari is a little more neutral than all of them. The main ones, right? And OGG. I don't know those other ones. Or House of David or House of Israel, whatever. HOI or HOD. But I do know that they claim that they have the truth. I know IUCPK says that they have 100% truth. No doubt about it. That's what they say. But the Bible says otherwise. The Bible says, if there be any man, verse 23, if there be any man that say to you or say unto you, lo, here's Christ, or there, believe it not. That is contrary to what they're saying. We have the 100% truth. I sometimes wonder if they really read the Bible for what it is. Verse 24, for there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, meaning false teachers, telling y'all that Abraham doesn't really matter. Isaac, Jacob is what matters, because that's when Israel became Israel, or Israelites, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel, so to speak. But yeah, they forget that they call themselves Hebrews, and that came from Eber. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. How are these great signs and wonders? They're able to break down the scripture. So our people are like, oh my God, they must be Hebrews. They know how to break down the Bible. Wow, this got to be Christ. Yeah, you're right, brother. The white man did this to us. That's what we knew. So I don't blame y'all for saying that, assuming that at first. Excuse me real quick. I don't blame y'all for assuming that at first, of course. I believe that my as well. But then as you start studying the Bible for what it really truly is asking for, then you find out, why are you guys running to the Messiah? Which I understand you could, you should, right? But not in this sense. Because the scriptures don't ask you to do that. It says, Isaiah 51 says this, exactly like this. Excuse me. Exactly like this. It says, hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness. Okay, so listen to me, you that want to keep the laws of the Most High, ye that seek the Most High. You see that? He's literally saying, listen to me, guys. Hearken, meaning hold on to what I'm about to tell you. Like me grabbing your shirt. Hearken to me, bro. Listen. You that follow after righteousness, you that seek the Lord. That's kind of what he's saying, right? Look unto the rock whence ye are hewn. So me telling you, all right, you want to know where God is, you want to do his laws, look unto the rock that I built. Like what? Yeah. Look unto the rock which ye are hewn, meaning cut, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged, meaning he took Abraham out of some pit, some rock, and he polished it and cut it perfectly to what he wanted, because he saw something in Abraham. Why? Because Abraham was always a Hebrew, first of all. Then it says, look unto Abraham your father. That's an instruction. The wise man will take the interpretation and add on to counsel. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. It's Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Okay? And then it says, for I called him alone and blessed him and increased him. And the verse before says, if you want to listen to me, hearken unto me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock when ye are hewn, into the hole of the pit when ye are digged. That's basic black and white instructions. It is not complicated to see. Hey, Shalom, Eastside 115. Oh, thanks to the Most High that I never joined a camp. Always felt that they were false in their teachings. Yes, sir. Shalom, hermano. All praises to the Most High. And you know what? Some of us had to walk that way. You know what I'm saying? So there's some brethren that had to walk that way, and Lord willing, they're starting to wake up. There's some that did walk that way and they lost the spirit, man. So that's the scary part. So yeah, you're right. All praises that you didn't go through it. But you know, some of our brothers make it, some of us don't. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, let me continue. All right, so far so good. We're understanding now that Isaiah 51 is literally saying, if you want to follow me, you want to look at the Most High, well, look at what Abraham is about. Wait a minute. Okay, well, shoot. Those are instructions. I'm going to follow that. So look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him. Now, there is a reason why this is in there. Because the Most High knew that there was going to be false for Christ, false prophets, false teachers, claiming to say the Messiah is here, the Messiah is there. And he says, don't believe them. He's literally saying, don't believe them about the Messiah. Don't believe them. So anything that has to do with the Messiah, don't believe them. Now, it says in John 7:38, let's clear this up for you One West camps, because you're going to probably say, you're the devil teacher. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Look at this. John 7:38, he that believeth on me, as the scriptures had said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. What does this have to do with how he looks like? So Revelation 1:14 is everything? So if that's the case, if your doctrine is based on Genesis 2:7 and Revelation 1:14 and Jeremiah 14:2, then guess what? John 3:16 is a legitimate doctrine. That is a legitimate doctrine then. So now we can twist the words because listen, brothers, this is what I've been hearing, okay? So Deuteronomy 28:49 now. It has nothing to do with being so far away, like in another continent. No, they're telling me now, okay? And then sending me messages saying, well, brother, you know, the other land and from far away or whatever it is could also be like the next city or your neighbor's house. Man, let the Most High strike me if I'm lying to you guys. They literally said to me, one particular brother from this camp said, well, it could also be your neighbor's house. What? So in that case, man, then John 3:16 all day, every day, baby. Shoot, man, I might as well be Christian now. You see what I'm saying? He that believeth on me. What is it that you believe on him? He is a representation of the Most High. So if the Most High says, you that looks unto me, that wants to follow righteousness, look unto the rock that I cut from, then it says, if anybody says, hey, if there's Christ is here, Christ is there, don't believe him. Those are simple instructions, but we're believing a black Jesus and a white Jesus. Let me show y'all something. This is their king. This is One West's king right here. This guy. They say that this is the Messiah and this is the Most High. Okay? This is what they're saying. They put a face on the Most High. I'm going to go just to Exodus, but there's other scriptures that say don't do this. But Exodus is pretty plain. Apparently, they're going to say, well, that means to bow down. Yeah, well, you know what? Your mind is a photogenic mind. The moment you open your eyes and you see an image for the first time, you're always going to remember that image, okay? It's just like if let's say you're looking at a fan and then you close your eyes, you see the shape of the fan, dummies. So that's why the Most High said this. Exodus 20:3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Before me. Before me, meaning anything that has to do with an image or even soccer. World Cup is coming. You guys are all obligating yourselves to like wake up in the morning and get drunk and all this. That says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Just like Ecclesiastes 12:13, the whole conclusion of the matter is what? Keep the commandments. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Verse 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Any, okay? Not some, not a few, not maybe, any. Not to represent me. No. Why? Because look, it says, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. So you see that it says, thou shalt not make any image. So why are you doing this? Huh? I'm gonna play something real quick for you. Look, listen to this. I recorded this just for this because listen, the devil has tricked us so bad that we're going to desconocidos to ask for advice on who we are according to the Bible. Watch this.
Lo sé, Señor, quizás hable sin sentido, pero al malvado hay que darle su merecido. Mira al diablo en que me ha convertido, pidiéndole consejos a un desconocido. Más verá cómo va. You see what I'm saying? We're asking these men for advice on who we are according to the Bible. And it says here, thou shalt not make any graven image unto thee. Thou shalt not make unto thee, any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above or that is in the earth beneath or that is in the waters under the earth. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of wondering. Give me a second. Let me close this up. I don't want to do this right now. Let me close this. Let me go back to the scripture. All right. So it's very clear. It's very clear. All right. So now let's go to Genesis 11 because that's what the kid was going to jump on. Right. All right. So now let's go through the descendants. Genesis 11. I'm going to read just a few things, but as you can see, I'm going to give you the lineage of Shem. All right. So Genesis 11:10 starts with the descendants of Shem. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. All right. And Shem lived and begot Arphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters. Okay. So if you go down all the way, then it says verse 14, and Salah lived 30 years and begot Eber. And Salah lived after he begot Eber 400 years and begot sons and daughters.
Then it goes Eber, Peleg, Serog, Nahor, verse 24. Nahor lived 9 and 20 years, so 29, and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begot Terah 119 years and begot sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So Terah had more. Nahor had more than just one kid. Terah, he had begot sons and daughters, but they're mentioning Terah only. So why Terah? Yeah, you see that? Why Terah if Nahor had sons and daughters? He didn't pick a woman, and he didn't pick any other brother. He picked Terah. Lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So he named this kid again. All right? Like his grandpa. Like his dad, I'm sorry. So that's Nahor's descendants. Now Terah, verse 27 and 28. This should be easy. And now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. All right. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity. Of whose nativity? And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, of the Ur of the Chaldees. So this man was born here. Okay. So now we're seeing that they sojourn, Haran and all of them we're sojourning in the Ur of the Chaldees, because this is now they're mentioning the nativity where they were born. Okay. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. And the name of Abram's wife was Sarai, or Sarai, like they say it in Spanish. And the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, the father of Iscah. Now they're all related. And Sarah was barren, and she had no child, so she couldn't have babies. Okay. So now let's go to Abraham and marry Sarah. So now let's go to verse 31. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai or Sarai his daughter-in-law, and his son's Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from the Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. So now, why? And Terah took Abram his son. So Terah took Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his sons, and Sarai, the daughter-in-law, right? And went forth from the Ur of the Chaldees into the land of Canaan. And they came into Haran and dwelt there. So he took them young. And the days of Terah were 200, and Terah died in Haran. Okay? So now, so far, we see the descendants of Shem. We see Terah. We see Abraham. Abraham was born in the Ur of the Chaldees, and so was Sarai, right? Now, in verse 12, it's when I'm going kind of quick so I can kind of get my point, because the other class I did was very extensive, and I don't want to take too long on this. I just want to kind of skim through it because there's a point here. I'm just establishing the lineage and where they came from, okay? So now, Abram is called, and in its Genesis 12:1, it says, now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will, let's see. No, that's enough. I think that's enough. But Abram. So he's being called at this time Abram. He's still Abram, not Abraham. Okay. Now Nehemiah 9:7. Let's go to Genesis 17, and then we'll go back to Nehemiah 7. You know what? Let's just go there first. Nehemiah 9:7. Watch what he reads. It says, thou art the Lord, the God, who did choose Abram and brought him forth out of the Ur of the Chaldees and gave him the name of Abraham. So now we're seeing that Abraham was called out of the Ur of the Chaldees again. All right. We're re-emphasizing where Abram and his family were living at a time. All right. Now, let's go to Genesis 17. I hope I'm not going too fast, but go back to the class. I have an extensive one on this, so I would suggest to go to that one too. But here we're just trying to get to the point. Genesis 17:5, it says, neither shall thy name or more be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham. For the father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and the kings shall come out of thee. The kings, meaning the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? So now we see Abram. Now he's being called Abraham. Now let's go to Isaac's birth. It says here, verse 19. It says, and God said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear. Oh, and then Sarah's name was changed from Sarai to Sarah. Okay. Then it says here, and God said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear thy son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. Okay. So now you see here, and then it mentions, and as for Ismael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him. I will make him fruitful, and I will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. Okay? So now we're seeing the birth of Isaac. Okay. So now let's go to Isaac and Rebekah. So Isaac and Rebekah. So now so far we see Abraham marries Sarah. Then Abraham and Sarah have Isaac. Okay. So now we're going to see Isaac meet Rebekah. Genesis 24:2, it says, and Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under thy thigh. So he's like, grabbing him right there. Right? I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. Here we see a very important distinction, between Abraham's lineage and basically every other image. Isaiah 44:9. Let me get that for you real quick. Let me see that real quick. All right, Eastside. Isaiah 44:9. It says, they that make a graven image are all. Oh, that's the one. Yeah, that's right. They that make. I think it was you that put that one, man. I appreciate you. I don't have my Bible open. I'm actually going through my notes. They that make thee a graven image are all of them vanity. Ooh, and they are, and their delectable things shall not profit. They are their own witnesses. They see not nor know, that they may be ashamed. You know what? Give me a second. I'm going to write it down now. That is an excellent scripture, man. I appreciate you, brother. Give me a second here. All right, so Isaiah 44:9. Appreciate you very much, fam. Appreciate you very much, man. That's a beautiful scripture right there. Never too late. Anyhow, let me continue. All right, so then we got this here. All right, so far we're back to Isaac, Genesis 24:2 and 4. So Isaac, in this case, here's where Isaac meets his wife. Okay, so we know now that his father doesn't want him to take any daughters of Canaan. Okay, but thou shalt go into my country, into my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. Huh? So where's that? My country, my kindred. Is that in Africa? The question is that in Africa? It's not. I think it says it here. And you know what? Let me go to 25. Women will not be willing to follow me. And Abraham said, beware, thou bring my son thither, then to the father's house. Okay, here goes. Verse 7 says, the Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, which spake unto me, and that swear unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angels before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swore unto him concerning the matter. And the servant took 10 camels of his masters and departed. For all the goods of his masters were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia into the city of Nahor. Okay. Then it says, and he made his camels to kneel down without the city by where a well of water at the evening, even the time that woman go out to draw water. Even like in the evening, the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day and show thy kindness unto my master Abram. Okay. So now you start seeing, behold, and there comes, let's say, and behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughter of the men of the city come out to draw water. So as you can see, where are you at? I want to get to the point. And it came to pass before, verse 15, came to pass before that he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born of Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abram's brother, which her pitcher upon her shoulder. So they're relatives. They're relatives. So now we see Isaac and Rebekah. We don't got to read more. We know that they met. We know that they had Jacob. Okay. So now let's go to verse 25 and 20. It says here, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, right? The daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padam Aram. Remember that word. And the sister of Laban, the Syrian. Remember, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padam Aram. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. You understand now? So she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So here we see now of Jacob. All right. So now we see verse 24 and 25. It talks about the Esau and Jacob, yada, yada, yada. We already know that. We know that. Okay. That's not a main issue here right now. So now let's go to Genesis 28, because then Jacob meets Rachel. Okay. Remember, I'm showing the lineage here. The lineage never went to no African. All right. Because he met this woman. Watch this. Genesis 28 and 1, it reads, and Isaac called Jacob, blessed him, and charged him, and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. He said it again. And by the way, he didn't even say Esau, for that matter. He said Canaan. Arise and go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. Relatives. Yes, Mr. So-called black man. Yes, cousins did marry each other in those eras and those times. That was not awkward for them. It was not awkward for them at all. Okay, so let's continue. So now we see Jacob. What does Jacob do? He ain't going to marry no Canaan, but he's told to go to Padam Aram. So now let's go to Genesis 20. Let's Genesis 28 to let's go to Genesis 48. Let's go there real quick. I'm gonna show y'all something. Well, no, actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. Let me see if I can bring a little. I'm gonna use a Blue Letter Bible. Blue Letter Bible. Okay, now we're gonna go to Genesis 28. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let's find out what this means. Genesis 28. It says, and Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of thy daughters of Canaan. Arise and go to Padam Aram. Why there? Now, this is a Blue Letter Bible website. You guys can use this. It's a very, very good resource. It helps you with giving the root definition of the word. Okay. So the root definition of Padam Aram is H6307 from the Concordance. Here's what it says.
Strong's H6307. Padan
Aram. And it says Padan or Padan Aram is a field. So Padan, a plain tableland in North Mesopotamia, in Aram. Okay, so it's a region. So Padam is basically a region. You see that? Padam. The table of Aram Padam or Padam Aram, the region of Syria. So it's a region, a plateau. Okay. All right. So follow me here because I'm going to show you something. Now let's go to Genesis 48. Genesis 48 and verse 7. Watch what it reads. And as for me, I came from Padam. Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there, the way of Ephrath, the same as Bethlehem. So we see here that Rachel had already passed. But look at this. No, I'm sorry, not 48, verse 22. Oh God, what a dummy. Genesis 22. Genesis 22 and 20. Sorry, I was reading the backwards notes. It says, and it came to pass that after these things that I was told that it was told Abraham, saying, behold, Milcah, she had also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Camille the father of Abram of Aram. Okay, so the father of Aram. Pay attention to that. And Ches, I believe, and Hazo and Pildash and Jidloth and Bethuel. And Bethuel begot Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear unto Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Remiel. She bare also Teba and Graham and Trahab. I don't know why I put all that in there, to be honest with you, but my point was this right here. Okay, it was regarding and Bethuel beget Rebekah. Bethuel beget Rebekah. Okay, so who's this Bethuel? Right, and then you're talking about this city here. Where is it at? See, Aram, right? H758. Aram means Aramaean. Aram, exalted. First son of Shem. So Padam Aram, if you really look at the translation, it basically means place of Aram or field of Aram. And in case y'all don't know this, Aram is the area where you get the Aramaic language. Okay. Now there are some areas in Pakistan where they speak square script Hebrew. They call it Urdu, I believe. So again, Padam Aram is in Iraq. H758. It's an Aramaic language. I'll show y'all something. Oh, that's not it yet. Let me see a second here. Oh, here it goes. Okay. What's that about? Here it goes. So as you can see, this is the whole land, and then you see Aram right there. So this is like the Ur of the Chaldees is here. You see Arphaxad. You see Joktan. These are all relatives of Abraham. Okay, so they're sojourning in Aram, Padam Aram. You see the Ur of the Chaldees right there. The Chaldees is somewhere here. Now, the Persians basically conquered this whole continent. Okay, so like here in America, if you're in California, that doesn't stop you from going to New York and living in Florida. So there are basic migrations, which is something that awkwardly strikes me, that they don't mention the migrations of the potential mixing. They just say, "Oh yeah, he went to Ur Chaldees, then he went here, and then he went to Africa, and all of a sudden now he looks African." Well, what about all these people here in this area? What about the Arab looking people, the dark skinned Arab looking people? What about the people from India? They didn't look African. They don't have woolly hair. Not all of them. They have dark skin. Yeah, we're not denying that. But what I'm saying is why even ignore all of the sojourning here? They're born here. They're being sent back to marry the women of their nativity of their land, of their people. Why is that not important? And then we see the Padam Aram means basically the land of the Aramaics. So they spoke Aramaic. They have to speak Aramaic, or for sure they had to speak Hebrew, right? And Aramaic sounds like a lot like Hebrew. Aramaic, Hebrew, and Veda or Veda, a Veda language, I believe, which is a branch of Sanskrit is a branch of Veda, something to that effect. I'm not too well knowledgeable on that language, but that's basically very clear. So why the so-called mystery regarding, oh, let's forget about Abraham. When we see in Genesis 29, watch this real quick. 10:11. It says, and it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. She was that beautiful. He couldn't hold it in. Like, wow, she's beautiful. She's my relative. He was happy because she was attractive and it was family. So far, we're watching that Abraham married Sarah. Isaac married Rebecca. Jacob married Rachel. All from their nativity. All of the land of the Aramaics or Aramea or Aram, Padam Aram. That's not in Africa. That's not in Africa. Let me repeat that. That is not in Africa. Okay? That's far from Africa. Africa's over here, which there's no point of even showing you the map. You know what that map is. This is where they were sojourning. Okay? This area here. They were first here, and then they came up here. So even if they were in Canaan, like here in Canaan, he was saying, I don't want you to marry any of my daughters to these heathens. Send them back to where I'm from, the nativity, this bloodline. And again, I'm going to say it. If you live in California, I know many people that have moved from Florida to California and from California to Florida, from New York to California, to New York, to New England, all of that. So you telling me that we wouldn't have migrated at one point? After Shem, Noah, and Ham, what happened? You see, this is not something that they want to talk about. This is why when I started reading the scriptures on my own, not being influenced by anybody, then I'm like, okay, now I got some serious questions. Why does it say this here? Judith 5:6. These people are descendant of the Chaldeans. And they sojourned, meaning they lived before in Mesopotamia, in the Chaldees, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers. The gods of their fathers, meaning their descendants, which were in the land of Chaldea. So in this particular region, right, you had a massive amount of gods. We know about Krishna. We know about Buddha. We know about all sorts of things. Zoroastrianism. We know about all of that. Okay, and it says here, they sojourn here in Mesopotamia because they would not follow the God of their fathers. Hold on, let me see if I have any notes. Real quick. Let me see real quick. Let me put your post up real quick, Mexican. Shalom, brother. In the past, I listened to them as I did Christianity lessons in the Bible precepts and how they break down but never accept their interpretation agendas, measure their lessons on precepts in history. Yeah, man, it's true. Like, it's all biblical. It's all historical. They don't want to actually look at the map and say, wait. You got to remember, we're very quick to say that the so-called Hispanics, that we migrated up north and went down south until we found the eagle in Tenochtitlan. That's what we were taught, right? That's what we were taught. So the migration aspect, look, listen, we even migrate now. Do you not see a bunch of our gente coming up to the Americas? I'm from Guadalajara. That's on a flight that's 3 hours away. Mary Mountainous Range, okay? I'm here in California. I was all the way up in Sacramento. Are you telling me that we don't migrate that way? And if you migrate that way, then you also pick up other what? Other religions, other customs, and you also what? Pick up other, unfortunately, you mix. When Abraham, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, we're going to read it. They bugged out. So what happened? Do you think we mixed with them? I don't know. But it says here very clearly, don't marry the daughters of Canaan. Canaan specifically. Canaan. These people are descendants of the Chaldeans. Remember that. Now let's go to verse 8. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they knew the Most High. So they cast them out from the face of their gods and fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Okay? So they cast them out from the faces of their gods. All right? So now at this point, we're seeing now that they're like, you know what? We're going to worship the Most High. And they went to Mesopotamia and lived there many, many days. Okay? And there God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned and go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt and were increased with gold, silver, and very much cattle. But even then, Abraham said, nope, I don't want you to marry no Canaanite. You need to go back to the land of my nativity with my people, my kindred, my cousins. That's family. So if they're very strict on keeping the bloodline intact, right? Why would you go off and assume that they're all of a sudden Africans? Where you look, okay, so what are you saying? That everybody looked like a Hamite? You see, then you're going back to white science. The evolution of man, supposedly, they were monkeys, and then they became black, and then we all became out of black people. If you're saying that, then you don't believe in the Bible. So now, I'm going to show you a book real quick. It's called it's by Higgins G. Anacalypsis. I showed it before. And I'm going to go to page, I'm going to skim through this rather quickly. I'm going to go to page 80. Yeah, I'll read a little bit of that. Why not? Watch this. Page 85. It says here, but Abraham was not merely the founder of the Persians. Okay, let me go up to 3. The Persians also claim Ibrahim, an example, Abraham, for their founder, as well as the Jews. Thus, we see that according to all ancient history, the Persians, the Jews, and the Arabians are descendants of Abraham. Really? Yeah. Check this out. But Abraham was not merely the founder of Persians, but various authors assert that he was a great magician at the head of the Magi. That is, he was the head of the priesthood, as our king is. As the Persian kings always were, and as the Roman emperors found it necessary to become later in the days. So we know that Abraham, his father, was worshiping other gods. Is this possible? Would he have been practicing their customs, their laws, their traditions when you were a child? I listened to my mother. I was a monaguillo. I was an altar boy. Do you think I wanted to be one? Hell no. But my mom said I better be one or I'm going to get my butt whooped. So guess what? I listened to my mama. You damn right I did. She was hardcore, man. Page 87. Dr. Hyde, after allowing that the religion of the Persians was originally the same with that of Abraham, and that it fell into Sabiism, says he thinks that it was reformed by him. You guys can continue reading. He adds that the ancient accounts call it the religion of Ibrahim or Abraham. The idea of reformation by Abraham seems to be without any proof. However, we may safely admit that this is consistent in the worship of one true God or of the Son merely as an emblem, and that it was really reformed and brought back to his spot from which it had been deviated, and from some great man, whether we were Abraham or Zoroaster, as that of the Jews was. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot involved in Abraham. There's a lot to be said in Abraham. But that's why we have to have a discerning spirit to understand what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. Watch this. This is page 94 from same book. It says, the religion of Abraham was that of the Persians. They remember Nahor and Terah were worshiping other gods. This is not far-fetched. And whether he was a real or fictitious person, a matter of doubt, both the religions must have been derived from the same source. If Abraham really did live, then the evidence both Jewish and Persian show that he was the founder of both nations. You see pictures of the Persians. Never have you ever seen a so-called black man say Persians were black people. Now you see the movie, and supposedly they're black, but they're dark skinned. Now, were we dark skinned? Was everybody dark skinned? Well, the curse of Cain, I believe it's really the color of white skin. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe. And again, I need to study it more, but that might be a class I would do. Anyhow, let's go to page 400. We're almost done with this book. Hold on a second, guys. Hey, let me duck my dog out real quick. He's a puppy, guys. Sorry about that, man. Let me play some music real quick. Hold on. At least in the meantime. I don't want him to. I'm trying to train him. So as soon as he like asks me to go outside to the bathroom, I definitely have to do that. You guys understand, I'm sure.
When we first arrived, just Claire and I.
Okay, I'll be right back.
No hay tiempo para pensar si hoy queda más que reír por lo que nos hizo sentir. Si la intuición no te deja seguir, no te vayas a rendir. No te quiero ver sufrir. Te escucho, te lucho, que mucha de tu fuerza nace de ti. Vas a ver que alimañas muerden tus entrañas, con sus artimañas extrañan tu fin. Sigue pues si tus pies tocan el suelo, el anzuelo no tira de ti. Grita fuerte si la vida te duele, que vuele el dolor, los pensamos de aquí. That me ya go. Mi llorar frío. Mira las nubes antes de perder las formas. Sé la luz del sol cuando no lo puedas ver. Cierra su boca cuando te hablen de más normas. Todo lo mal montado se ha de romper. Aunque que tú te rompas no hará más que estorbar. Si es bajo el castigo y mando de Lucifer, en verdad tú sabrás con lo que te conformas. Y yo con el super amor traer.
Hablan sin sentido y se enamoran, pero todo llega y solo te queda esperar. Pasan los segundos y las horas y sin darte cuenta todo vuelve a comenzar. Todo parece lógico en este mundo de plástico, hay que ver la fe cómo se va perdiendo. Quizás me quede afónico de ser mi propio médico y crecer sin ser un hombre que va muriendo. Tal vez me estoy volviendo loco.
All praises. I appreciate y'all waiting. Okay. Anyhow, all right, let's continue. Let's continue real quick. Let me close this up real quick. Okay, we're on page 400. Let me look for it. All right, a little bit back. Yeah, man, come on, man. This should be it. All right, cool. Okay. Watch this. It says, right here, Let me see if I could magnify it a little bit. Magathanes, who was sent to India by Seleucus Nicator, about 300 years before Christ, whose account from new inquiries are every day inquiring additional credit. It is very remarkable manner confirms the hypothesis of the Jews coming from India. What? He says that they were an Indian tribe or sect called Kalani, and that their theology has a great resemblance to that of the Indians. Okay? Now, am I saying, or are they saying that they are of the India, like Indians, like the India? No, they're saying they're a tribe or a sect, meaning that they sojourn in that section. And as you continue reading about these guys, they were really looked down upon. Okay. But at the same time, they also saw them as just a particular type of people that just acted different and was different. Okay. And it's just like us here in the Americas, man. Like, for example, here where I grew up, right? I'm still here, even though I'm gonna move, but I'm still here. So we have a community, you know what I'm saying? And everybody outside of that community, like we call this place Pozole, because apparently they used to sell pozole here. And this used to be a crazy hood, right? So people come over here and they're kind of like that. Like, oh yeah, that's the east side. That's the east side. There's a pozoleros right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a sect of Kalani. All right. Then it says, in the discovery of this passage, after I had written in the reader has read respecting the Jews, gives me no little pleasure because it almost proves the truth of my theory and very different from founding my theory upon it. I will not produce another proof if records by unwilling witness of proof, for Josephus is an unwilling witness. It says Aristotle gave an account of the Jews that they come from the Indian philosophers, and that they were called by the Indians Kalami or Kalani, and by the Syrians Judea. You see that? So the Indians called us Kalani, and the Assyrians called us Judaic or Jews. I think few persons will doubt that the Kalani or Kalami here are the Kalani of magistrate. That's exactly it. One of those two being miscalled. We have seen a Kalani in Ceylon. We found a Zion, Adam's Foot, Mount Ararat, Colombo, Genesis 10, Amos, okay? And it says here, Amos 4:6-2, a colony or Kalani is also named. Let me see, Amos 6. Let's find out. You know what? I did not ever see that. That's why I'd like to read stuff over and over again, guys, because it says 6:2, right? It says, pass ye unto Kalni and see, and from thence go ye to Hamath the great, then go down to Gath of the Philistines. Be they better than these kingdoms? Man, I'm gonna have to read this. This is heavy duty right here, guys. Look at that right there. Wow. All right, now I'm really intrigued by this. All right, so now let's go to page 92, 392, sorry. And then we're almost done with this book. Again, it's just evidence, man. Their assumption, remember, they're assuming that, oh yeah, Genesis 2:7. Okay. Well, then you know what? Like, you're giving us that breakdown. Well, this is what we're finding so far. And this is just evidence. You know what I'm saying? Watch this. It says here, I will now state another fact, which coming from quarters whence we have it, cannot be disputed on the account of the interest of system. The tribe of Krishna has had a name, noticed by one before, book 5, chapter 2, the sect, which is very remarkable. It says, the Yadus, his own tribe and nation, were doomed to destruction for their sins, like the descendants of the Yahuda or Judah, which is the true pronunciation of Judah. They all fell in general by the mutual wounds, and a few accepted, who led through Aim Boom Wapi, I guess, a miserable and wretched life. There are some to be found in Gujarat, but they're represented poor and wretched. And it says that Yadavas were the most venerable immigrants from India. They were the blameless and pious Ethiopians. Watch this. Whom honor mentions and calls the remotest of mankind. Part of them, says the old Hindu writes, remains in this country. You see this? Let me not pass it by. Part of them, says the old Hindu writer, remain in this country. And hence we read of two Ethiopian nations, the Western and Oriental. So now You so-called black man that you're like, oh yeah, you know, like the Ethiopian. Well, here it says that the Ethiopians came from India. From India. That's why Ethiopians don't look like a lot of African people. Let me see this real quick. Let me read your Israel has always been nomads ever since we left Jerusalem. This is a Native American. Yeah, man, migrating. Yeah, you're right. We have. Remember, we're sheep men. We're men of sheep. We tend the sheep. We're men of the tents. We handle cattle. We move with our animals. Our animals have to travel, right? We find the migration. That's why our natives were chasing the buffaloes. We would migrate. Man, that's a heavy point, Meshikan, man. That's a heavy point, bro. Matter of fact, brother, I sent you an email, okay? Because I want to talk to you about something, man. So check your email. And if you responded to me, my apologies, man. I don't check that one much, so I'll check mine as well. Anyhow, all right. So we're going there. So that's interesting. Now, this is something that I want to bring up because, again, we don't hide nothing here. Because just like this guy said, oh man, my research led me to this, and I really didn't want to. Hey man, if my research leads me to be that I'm not a Hebrew, then hey man, it is what it is. I can't cry over it. I'm not no Esau. Ooh, no, the Most High didn't choose me. You see, this is the difference between the so-called Hispanics and the so-called Native Indians, right? Of the indigenous Americas. We live like that. We either are or we're not. We either are Hebrews or we're not Hebrews. We're not going to cry about it, beg our way through it. Oh, poor me, look at this. No, man. I straight up look at it like that. If we are, we are. All praises. If we're not, then we're not. There's nothing you can do. So the only thing you can do is find truth. That's it. So here we're seeing that Ethiopians, truthfully, were not originated in Africa. They were originating in India, which is why they look different than you guys. And which is why they don't look at you guys the same. I wonder why. Do your homework. A so-called Mexican, not an Arab, not a mixed Arab with African, a so-called Mexican is teaching you guys your own history. Okay? Wow. And this is not arrogance. This is confidence because I know now who I am. According to the Bible, I'm a Hebrew of the Hebrews. And according to the white man, I'm a Hebrew as well. Go figure. Because you guys run to him too. All right, let's continue. Let's get out of this page here. We're done with this book, I believe. We're done with this book. We'll probably come back to that map. Let's see. Let's go back to Judith 5:6 so now we can kind of like figure out the point. And then we're going to move on. Give me a second here. Oh, I'm going to show you that later. Okay, hold on. Where you at? Judith 5:6. Judith 5:6. Judith 5:6. It says then, these people are descendant of the Chaldeans. So as you can see in the Chaldees, there was a lot going on, man. There was a lot of movement. There was a lot of migration. There was a lot of bad customs that we picked up, just like Meshikan. You know about this, man. You know your history regarding our people here. We basically picked up sacrifices from the Toltecs, right? If you can post that up there, I'll post it for them. Well, some little history on that, man. Because I remember listening to you saying that. That's why I was like, man, that's really weird. That why would we have those heads? And even if we might have looked like that, we might have had mixed as well. I always had that feeling. And guess what? A lot of it is true. Then it says, and they sojourned here for in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of the Chaldees. So these guys were worshiping who? Krishna, maybe? Zoroastrianism? You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Because at that time, it's been so long. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia. Now, the way I'm reading this, I'm actually reading it in a slight difference here. So they cast them out from the face of their gods. What I'm seeing here is that wherever they were sojourning, they were also being told to leave because they didn't want to worship the gods of their fathers anymore. And you know how it is, man. If you look, let's say you grew up here in the hood and you don't agree with their ways anymore, they're like, hey man, you better get out of here. They're gonna beat you up. I mean, again, but we see though that they sojourned their ancestors and they were out of Mesopotamia all of a sudden now, and then they end up in Haran and then they go to Canaan. But never did he tell never did Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, never did they marry women of Canaan. You know who did? Esau. Esau married women of Canaan. That was one of the first things he did because he wanted to piss off his family. Joshua 9. And then we'll move off from this topic. I think I've already hit it enough. It says in Joshua 24:2. It says, and Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem and called for the elders of Israel and for their heads and for their judges and for their officers and for their and they presented themselves before God. And it says, and Joshua said unto all the people, thus say the Lord God of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in the old time, meaning in the Ur Chaldees, in that area, that region, even Terah, the father of Abram, the father of Nahor, and they served other gods. And I took your father Abram from the other side and led him throughout all the land of Canaan and multiplied his seed and gave him Isaac. And I gave unto Isaac Jacob and Esau. And I gave unto Esau Mount Seir to possess it, but Jacob and his children went down to Egypt. Okay? So now we're seeing that what? That they served other gods. All right, so that's my point on that particular part. Let me move on. I got this to show you real quick. So now we're going to move on. Now, what is the point? Why am I even bringing this up? I'm going to show y'all that we have a very, very unique connection with Abraham and his people and in that region. Watch. So now this video. And again, let me play the hold on, let me see. Again, just in case. Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of the United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's go.
Why do you wish to sail west?
To open a new route to Asia. Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and gold. At the moment, there are only two ways of reaching it. By sea, sailing around the African continent.
And by the way, Asia isn't Asia like China. They're talking about like India, that area, Asia, because all that used to be called Asia, from India, Asia, all of that. Where let's say, because where the Persians ruled, not all the way back there. Like let's say halfway through from where India is and all the way to Asia and a little bit up north. It's called Euro-Asia as well, that particular northern part of Russia. So it's a very vast area at that time. All right, so let's go.
The journey takes a year, or by land, but the Turks have closed this route to all Christians. There is a third way. By sailing west across the ocean sea.
The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands.
And to be so certain?
The calculations of Toscanelli, Marin de Tir, Esdras.
Esdras is a Jew.
So what's worse?
2 minutes, and already you're a dead man.
For telling the truth?
Yes. We are burning people for less. The men you're about to confront have no emotion.
So if you remember that, that was a famous video that we were, told, right? It was a famous one. Okay. So now this is from interpretation. So example here. If they were supposedly going to Asia, why would they not have like some kind of other language? Instead, they didn't. We'll go like this. And in 1492, Christopher Columbus landing in the Bahamas changed the whole world forever. It helped establish trade routes between North America, Europe, and ushered a new age voyage to discovery. You see that? Let me tell you again, it helped establish trade routes between North America and Europe. It didn't say Africa, did it? Then it says, and ushered a new age of voyage and discovery. Columbus brought Luis de Torres, an interpreter, with him during the first voyage. De Torres spoke Hebrew, Aramaic, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Latin, and some Arabic. Why didn't he speak what do you call that? Mandarin. If he was going to Asia. He knew where he was going. And you see, when I did my so-called DNA, those two actually came up, Hebrew, Aramaic. Because he expected to encounter Asians. Why? Why Asians if they don't speak? Do Asians speak Hebrew? You see the trickery? Columbus felt that Torres' proficiency in Hebrew and Aramaic would be particularly useful. Why? 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 So why in the world are we listening to camps tell us who we are according to the Bible? We see it very, very clearly that there was never even mention of Africa here. At the end of the first voyage, Columbus brought back native Indians with him to Spain. This is from our brethren. This is a book called La Historia de México. Watch what it says. The descendants of Arsaphat es la siguiente, is the second, is the following. De Eber, nieto de Arphaxad, proceden los hebreos. Jactán, hijo de Eber, dio origen al pueblo indio. Una vez más. This is a Spanish bilingual class, so I'm going to read it in Spanish, guys. I don't know why I'm translating. La descendencia de Arphaxad es la siguiente. De Eber, nieto de Arphaxad, proceden los hebreos. Jactán, hijo de Eber, dio origen al pueblo indio. ¿Se acuerdan del mapa? Ahora, les voy a decir algo. Jactán, ¿por qué tenemos ese nombre Yucatán? So entonces, I'm speaking Spanish, my bad. So if we're technically, Yucatán, right? Here we see Jactán. Jactán is right here. So if we migrated to Africa, why do we have Yucatán? That means we had been over here. We would have known these people as much as possible. Look, Arphaxad, Jactán. And we see la descendencia de Arphaxad es la siguiente. De Eber, nieto de Arphaxad, proceden los hebreos. Jactán, hijo de Eber, dio origen al pueblo indio. Ustedes son, you guys are the Hebrews of the Bible. And no, we didn't have woolly hair. Now, all of this, again, this is going back to the relationship. The relationship, watch this, guys. I found this website, very interesting, right? And it was translated. So watch what it says here on the bottom. It says, let me see if I can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Watch. Avesta is the book of Zoroastrians, which literally means foundation, basis in the scripture. This book has been written in Avestan language, which belongs to the ancient Persia. Shares the same root as Pahlavi and Sanskrit. In addition to the Avasti, Zoroastrian has a Tarsis by the name of Zand Avesta, in another holy book written in the Pahlavi language. Sanskrit is the language in India. Who are the Magis? The term Magus, which is used to denote Zoroastrians in Arabic, derives from Magush or Magu, the ancient Persian language. This is why, look, watch this. After entering the Arabic language, it changed to Magus. Zoroastrianism, which is the religion of the Magi, is related to the Torah and Bible. The Bible doesn't directly mention this term, but but in 8 of the books of Torah, the kingdom of Persia has been mentioned. Okay? Well, now, remember those Magi guys that went to see the Messiah? Guess why? Because they were Hebrews. And they knew that when the Messiah would come, he would open the doors again to all the people, because remember, under Torah, a lot of us sin. That's why Abraham, when he was called, he still circumcised himself and he circumcised his son. He had faith and he applied the laws. So we're seeing Abraham sojourning in that area, not Africa. So why are we doing this?
Lo sé, Señor, quizás hable sin sentido, pero al malvado hay que darle su merecido. Mira al diablo en que me ha convertido, pidiéndole consejos a un desconocido.
Why are we doing that? I recorded that because like that stood out to me, man. Why are we going to these other nations telling them like, oh, who we are according to the Bible? Oh my God, we're going to sit back and just listen to them. No, man, you got to study yourself. Because I've been doing that. And this is why I'm finding these things. Watch. This is from the Great Migration. All right. Let's see if I have it here. Give me a second. Great Migration. Maybe I have it in my Facebook account. I'll find it after. Let me at least skip it because I don't want to waste too much time. Okay. This is a long class. Watch this real quick. All right. Nah, you know what? I need to find it. Because it relates. So watch this real quick. Watch this, okay? This is from a book called let me see. Give me a second. I believe it's the one called India once ruled America. I think this is it. Let me see. Chapter 1. No, it's not it. No, not this. Yeah, I think it's this one. It's from Heber Pass to Grand Kivara, MH, New Mexico, and Bobo Kabiri. It's from Gene Matlock. So look up the word When India Ruled the World. When India Ruled the World by Gene Matlock, okay? Then it says here, watch what it reads. Again, I'm making a connection. The history of the Jews, the Jewish scholar, theologian Flavius Josephus wrote that the Greek philosopher Aristotle said these Jews derived from the Indian philosophers. They are named Indian Kalani. Solis wrote, the Jews descended from the philosophers of India. The philosophers are called India Kalanians. The Syrians, Jews. So the Indians called us Kalanians. The Syrians called us Jews. Okay. Then it says here, the name of their capital is very difficult to pronounce. It is called Jerusalem. It's because it was spelled like H J or Harazalium, something like that. Okay. So look at this. The Jews were Indian tribe or sect called Kalani, and that their theology has a great resemblance to that of the Indians. That's why you have a lot of people from India. They're pretty good philosophers, man. They have a lot of good philosophy. If you just listen to philosophy in its own, on its bare ways. Let's see. On medieval maps, you'll see India superior on this side of the world. Wow. Actually, man, you know what? You on point with me, brother. I appreciate you. Because you always mention stuff that I'm about to touch. Watch this. I'm gonna show you this real quick. Hold on. Watch. Let's see. Hold on. Where are you? Is it here? Yeah, this is it. Watch this, man. This blew my mind. Remember, I'm making a connection to Abraham. It says Hindus reached America first. This is what the official historians of the Mexican government says in general outlines of the history of Mexico. What is called the discovery of America is the meeting of two great current of races of people who, after separation extending over many centuries, were again joined after going right around the earth. Wow. Then it says on the bottom part, and those who arrived first on the continent, later to be known as America, were groups of men driven by the mighty current set out from India towards the east. Hindu in America. Hindu in America. That's the book. All right, let's see what we got here. Now I'm going to show you something. This is why when he said that he found India, or he thought he was in India, is because we resemble them a lot. And the people over there. Okay? Watch this. I don't know why it's taking. There it goes right here. Look at this. Joven India Gallón de El Cerrito. You see, black people here with that, oh, you see, she's a so-called black woman. No, dummies. She's not. Why? Because she has dark skin, her hair straight. This is what my niece looks like. A few of my nieces. A few are dark skin, a few are light skin, a few are really light skin. Some even look Arabic on my brother's side. You never know. Let's see. Mysteries of the Mexican pyramids. Watch. This is also why they had to destroy a lot of our material. Watch this. Hold on a second. Let me turn this down. I don't know why there's an echo sound. Look. Look at that. Renditions of Maya reliefs are strikingly similar to the motifs of the Buddhist countries. The sun, the tree, the serpent are the three most sacred symbols of the Buddhist. Let's see where else I'm looking at. I'm looking for a picture. Let me see. Watch this. This is from the mysteries of the Mexican pyramids. Cabrera adds that Amagumecan was in the province of Chiapas, where the Indians carefully preserved the remembrance of their origin and of their ancestors' early progress from voluntary or enforced abandonment of Palestinians on the ingress of the Hebrews. You see that? Voltan says to have declared himself a snake descendant of Emos of the line of Cam and said that he came to America from a distant place, blah, blah, blah. Remember, you got to discern information. Discern information. Okay? And again, we're reading everything. Look, this is a custom from India. And here in Mexico, they have the thing called voladores. Okay? Where are you at? Even from back in the days. That's our gente right there. Look, this is what I want to show you. Look at that. That was in the temple here. The mysteries of the Mexican pyramids. That was inside the temples. So why would they not want to destroy who we are? Look, this is from the book Hindu America. The Mayas, Nahuas of Yucatan and Mexico were immigrants of the Maga and Nahusha tribe, whose pertained to the race of the navigators known by the Greeks as the Phoenicians, supposedly, and who continued in their own new land, America, and worshiped the rain god, in whom their fathers in Central Asia, they dedicated the signs of the cross, supposedly. Supposedly. Look, the snake, the common deity, the worship of the snake in India and in Mexico is one of the important links between Hindus, Mayas, and Aztecs. It says the name of their culture, hero Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, incorporates the word serpent, Maya, and Nahuatl. And I believe, Mexican, you had mentioned something. Let me see if you have something to say about this. Nope, not yet. Let's see. All right. So, anyways, I'm just making a connection. You know, some similarities. That's all. That's all I'm doing. Making a connection that we were descending in that area. That we actually look. I've seen people where people from that region look like him. Arab, Indian, Pakistani. Pictures don't lie, guys. Pictures don't lie. I'm almost done. Oh, they blocked that one? That's crazy. Watch this. I have 2 more to show you, and then that's pretty much it. Oh, and then I'm gonna do something real quick at the end, guys. I'm gonna play a video because I have something to show you. Okay, so you guys can stick around. It says here, so I have another maybe 30 minutes. The most people think that Phoenicians, as a tribe of sailor traders, inhabited what's called now Lebanon, right? Okay, so let's continue. Watch this. The Spaniards called the land of Ram Uri Shiawahwa, pronounced as Shivava by the natives themselves. In Sanskrit, Shivava, Shiva's temple. According to Hindu religion scholars, Ram and God Shiva were once the same deity. So Shivava, okay? Now watch this. The Ramuri of Chihuahua. See the Raramuri of Chihuahua? In India, they have the Ramamuri of Shivava. You see what I'm saying? The similarities, the customs. Watch this. Tlolacan, okay? What is Tlolacan? Tlolacan. Tlolacan is described as several Aztec codices in the paradise, right? So watch this. Tlo is a word being used where? America, South America. Here and here. A lot in India. Tlo. Now watch. Tlolocan. Locan. Is that it? Yeah. Locan. Where you at? How come it's not showing it? Oh, it's still spinning. Hold on. I know why it's not showing it. Let me see. I'll do it this way. There it goes. Locan. Surname. Surname distribution map. You see that? Look at that. The majority is there. Tlalocan. Tlalocan. I already showed you our books regarding our and remember, keep in mind that we migrated that way. I did a class on Arsarith. So I have a very I can sincerely tell you that because of the customs that we picked up, that we definitely migrated that route instead of what we were told that we went on ships and somehow floated for years. That's ridiculous. I don't even think that, and because verse 46 and 47 and 48 on 2nd Ezra 13 basically destroy that doctrine. Okay, so now why am I doing this class? Why am I aiming at Abraham? Because even here, watch this. Isaiah 51 told us already, and then look at what James said. Ain't no one else saying. There's no one else in the Bible being called this. It says, James 2:23, and the scriptures had fulfilled, which saith, Abraham believed God, and was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God. I want to be called the friend of God. Why wouldn't you want to be called the friend of God? So it says, look unto Abraham, who I cut, who I hewed, right? Okay. Well, I want to be called a friend of God. So Second Chronicles chapter 20, verse 7, and it reads, art not thou our God, who did drive out the inhabitants of this land before thee, before thy people Israel, and gave it to the seed of Abraham, thy friend forever? Thy friend. Wisdom of Solomon 7. Watch what it reads. Verse 14. For she is a treasure unto men that never faileth, meaning wisdom, discipline, instructions, which they that use become the friends of God, being commanded by the gift for the gifts that come from learning. Verse 27. And being but one, she can do all things and remain it in herself, and she make it all things new, and in all ages entering into holy souls. She maketh them friends of God and prophets. You don't think I want to be a friend of God? You damn right I want to be a friend of God. I don't want to be his enemy. Isaiah 51 and 1. Let me remind you, hearken unto me, Ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock when ye are hewn, to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Now we know what hole they came out of, the areas of those times, all those religions. He cut us from there. And Terah had many children, sons and daughters, but he picked Abraham. Why? Because he knew Abraham would have faith and apply the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's what we're doing today. And we're going to the source. Let me read some of this info, brothers. Let's see. Some of it's not popping up. Let's see. Oh, no, that's good. Okay, cool. Hearken unto me, that ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock when ye are hewn, and unto the hole of the pit where ye are digged. Meaning, look into that. Look into that. What does that say? What happened? What was the migration like? When you start looking at that, when you start seeing that for what it is, let me see, why is that still showing up? When you start seeing that for what it is, then you realize, I got to look at him. Okay, well, he was taken out of the pit. Aren't we taken out of the pit? Isn't this the pit? Look unto Abraham your father and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone and blessed him and increased him. So he's going to call you alone as well. Out of the pit. Out of these doctrines. Out of this wickedness. Okay? But you got to look into him to know what happened to him. And he picked him out of all the brothers and sisters. And he fell off and he went into idolatry. And he didn't circumcise himself in 8 days. But when he was 99 years old, he did. And he circumcised his son. So you Christians that say, oh, well, Abraham was called. Okay, why aren't you circumcising? Why aren't you keeping the laws of God? Why aren't you circumcising your children? You're not keeping them. You see, that's why James 2:23 said, faith without works is dead, which is why God called Abraham his friend, because he has sincere faith, unbelievable faith. And he applies the laws, the moral, civil, ceremonial, and what? Dietary. Because he didn't sacrifice Isaac. He gave him a sheep for it. You know what I'm saying? Or a lamb. So for all of you that are still, debating whether, we should look into Abraham or not. No, I'm not being like those Pharisees, like, oh, well, we have Abraham, our father. I already know Romans 9. But what I'm saying is the instructions are there, which is why the scripture said, if anybody tells you Christ is here, Christ is there, believe him not. So I'm not going to believe any of y'all fools with the image of the Negro or the image of the white man. Speaking of which, this is the class that I'm going to finish up with, and then I'm going to show you the map of Arami. Okay? Stick around. This is 18 minutes. It's your brother. It's your brother. All right, listen. Emmanuel again, okay? I'm going to do a quick class today. It's a review of what I have done before. Just trimmed out because I think it's important to go over these scriptures more than anything, okay? So with that being said, I'm not going to take too long in regards to the start. The class is called The Treachery of the Black Adam. Now, that may hurt somebody's feelings. Hey guys, listen, if you guys watch this class, not a problem. But look, I have something to show y'all at the end, okay? It's the map that's gonna seal the deal. I want to seal the deal today. Enough of this treachery of the Hamitic race. I'm tired of it. Y'all are not our people if you're saying that we were Africans, that we look like a Hamite. No, we're not. We're not. We're very clear as to who Abraham is, who he came from, that his sons and his daughters all married their own kindred. And they came out of the Ur of the Chaldees. And we have a lot of similarities in their customs and the ways that they live in those areas where they sojourn. So basically, we are proving who we are according to the Bible. That's right. Let them know, Ak. Let them know. So now it's your job to do your part, because we're doing a thorough investigation. We're not going to Genesis 2:7 and saying, see, brother, the darker you go, the redder it gets. No, Genesis 2:7 doesn't say that. We're going to prove it right now again. 18 minutes. This is about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to show y'all a map, and then we're done. Maybe several, but I could care less, okay? This is not about emotions. This is about truth. This is not about hate. This is about truth. It's about proper doctrine and proper revelation. That is the job of the so-called elders, to teach us those things, okay? But anyways, I'm going to use the Blue Letter Bible for the most part, but for now, I want to read a scripture just to get started. So let's see. Let's go to Sirach chapter 60. I'm sorry, it's chapter 14, verse 20. Okay, let's start. It says, blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom. You hear that? Blessed is the man that thinks continually in the good things, meaning the commandments that brings wisdom. Okay, let me read it again. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, right? Why? And that reasoneth of holy things by understanding, because through that wisdom you tend to reason with life situations, people, and even the studying habits, the discipline, right? Of holy things by his understanding. Meaning what? Of the Most High. Okay, so let's read it one more time. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding. Excuse me, I misunderstood that. By his understanding, meaning that, like you, for example. Okay, so correct that, slash that. Verse 21. He that considereth her ways. In the Bible, wisdom is used as a female, right? Because it wants you to consider it. Obviously, when you, obviously to our brothers here, when you love a woman, if you're very firm love, you love a woman, you're going to obviously treat her well and take care of her, right? Because you want to make sure that, you get what you want, I guess, in that sense, right? At that time in that world. But the point being is that that's the same concept. He that considereth her ways in his heart, meaning his mind, shall also have understanding in her secrets. Okay. So let's start off with Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, because that's what I had touched on yesterday. And the reason why I think this is important is because we've been taught otherwise. We've been taught that Genesis 2:7 is where the so-called black man came from, right? They go to it. So let's go to it. Genesis 2:7, and it reads, this is exactly it. It says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, okay, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, right? So now, they'll go and say, and when I mean they is the One West doctrine, okay, that you see, it's a man from the ground. If you dig the dirt, it looks dark. The deeper you go, the darker it is in some areas. But anyways, for the sake of the scriptures, let's stick to it. So now let's use the tools that were given to us. So now if we look at what the word ground means, because man formed, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. But if you click on dust, here, just for the sake of you guys understanding, let's click on that real quick. It really means more of like debris, earth, stuff, powder, things of that nature, ashes, gray, rubbish, right? But if you click on the word ground, H127.
Strong's H127. Adamah. Adamah.
Adamah. So Adamah is what? Go back again. It's ground. See that? And it means ground, land, ground, piece of ground. City of Naphtali. We'll touch on that in a little bit. And then it says redness, right? Now, you're going to see this, H119, H119. Hold your thought on that one, because we're going to come back to it. So as we know now, that Adamah is ground, or based on this, it just says redness, right? So let's dig a little deeper. Let me show you guys something real quick. I put this on last time. So as you can see, man from the earth, okay? That's what it means. I mean, you simple Google. Simple Google. Now, if you click on here, our baby namers, okay? Now, keep in mind that in One West doctrine, the One West indoctrination, you got these brothers who will use a classical baby Bible book. So it's like, you pick names from this book, right? Bible names. Like you see Esau, you see Edom, red and hairy. You see that? Okay, fine. And then that's pretty much it. So now, if you actually consider this here, is no different. Adamah, the meaning of Adamah is man from the earth. Didn't I just literally Google it just like that? Who does Adamah mean, right? Or what does Adamah mean? It's the same thing, right? Adamah. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you something real quick here too. And I don't like to use references or name them. I'm sorry, because I would appreciate it if you guys actually watched the class and wrote them down. Adamah again. It says red ground earth. Adamah again means red ground earth. So now let me show you guys this real quick. Adamah, red earth again, right? And it's, I guess, fortified city of Naphtali. Again, remember that. So now I'm going to show you guys something real quick. From Zondervan Dictionary, Bible Dictionary. And I actually got an old one, okay? From 1960, I believe, 1969. That's what it says inside. Adamah. Adamah. Hebrew. Adamah. Red ground. Or Naphtali. Place in Naphtali. Okay? And since we see it now, Joshua 19:36. Let's go to it. Let me close these real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. Why is it referencing that, right? Obviously, we're going to ask. And Joshua 19:36 reads, and Adamah and Ramah and Hazor, right? Adamah and Ramah and Hazor. What does Adamah mean? YH 128. It means Adamah, the earth, or red earth, or city in Naphtali. Okay? So now, why? Why would they call a place Adamah in the city of Naphtali? You got to wonder that, right? Those things are important. There's only one time they use this word. Look, Adamah, a place in Palestine, same as, there's really not much here. Really not much. But I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I like using maps a lot. And I'm going to show you this. Now, why am I showing you a map? Naphtali's right here, right? You see Naphtali. You see Asher is by the ocean. Zebulun is under Naphtali. Issachar below. Gad below. Manasseh to the right or to the left, however you look at it. Dan is north. But one thing about Naphtali is that it's by the sea of, and I cannot remember the name of that sea. I apologize. They call it sea. Well, I don't want to look for it because of time. Okay. The sea, can't read it. But all of Naphtali has a riverbank. Now, the reason I mention this is because since, as I've said before, since I was young, I've been using clay. A teacher of mine introduced it to me, and I guess it's just been a natural gift. So I'm very familiar with how clay works and where to find clay. Well, guess one of the things where you need to find clay. I'm gonna show you. Okay. You guys can look this up too. Ancient pottery, just check it out. It's a website. Look, watch what it says. I'll read this whole thing. It says, because they are the smallest particles of soil, clay particles stay suspended in water longer than sand or slit particles. This tendency to stay suspended in moving waters and to settle slowly in calm waters allows clay to form beds where water sat still at some time in the distant past. As a result of this, the best place to find clay are long flood plains of rivers and streams. Just letting you know, family, I have the map. I'm going to show you the map of what I'm talking about, okay? So stick around. I didn't have the map at that time. I was only going by the interpretation of my experience. Sorry, let me turn this down. I was only going by the interpretation of my experience regarding clay and all of that, but I did not know. I did not have the map at that time, and now I do. We're going to show it, okay? So let's continue.
On the bottoms of ponds, lakes, and seas. All right. Now, when I was in high school, I think, a little after high school, I was already working. I think I was like 20 years old or something like that. There's this game that I used to play.
And this game is called Caesar 3. Now it's like a civilization. And as I'm reading these things, right, I'm like, Naphtali, wonder why it's calling it that. Now looking at the map, and then that's why. You see, since this game here, you have an open land, and then you basically can create a city. And as more people live there, it develops into this. What do you see? It starts off like these huts over there. You obviously have to build cities and economic system, right? You see this right here? Those are clay pits. Now the clay pit can never be next to the water, and the clay pit technically cannot be way inland where there's no water. It has to be by the water, not next to it, as it says. You may find them by them, but for the most part, it's not that close. Now, what I find interesting is Naphtali is literally running all across. So if you connect the two together, they call that place in the Adamah in Naphtali because it's red ground. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? I'm absolutely going somewhere with this. Hold that thought. Remember what I'm just saying. Let's go to Genesis 2:19 so we can connect it. Because that's where you first see the name of Adam. Genesis 2:19. It says, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them, okay? We've been using this already, so let's just jump into it. Adam.
Strong's H120. Adam. Adam.
H120, Adam. Remember that right there? The H119 from before? Look what it says. Etymology, root word. Red, 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 red. Rudy, Rudy, red. Cause to show red. Glare. Grow red. Look red. Redness. There, I'm going to bring up another topic of another class. But we're going to answer exactly what Revelation 1:14 is really saying. Anyhow, you see that right there? H119. And Adam means what? Man, mankind, right? That's what it says. But check it out. It says Rudy right next to H119. Okay? But that's not all. Watch this real quick. What's behind the name? Behind the name means what? This is a Hebrew word for man. It could ultimately derive from Hebrew Adam, meaning to be red, referring to ruddy color of human skin. Okay? Let's go to Bible study now. Adam. Adam is both the proper name for first human and the designation of humankind. God himself gave the appellation to Adam and Eve. The color red lies behind the Hebrew root Adam. This may reflect the red soil from which he was made. Red soil, right? Red soil. All right. Let me continue to show you guys this real quick. I'm going to go back to the St. Zondervan Dictionary Bible. Watch what it says about Adam. Adam. Adham, red or made. This is the Zondervan Bible. You'll find it in your Zondervan Bible, One West Campers. You'll find it in it. I'll show you this too, right? This is on a who's who, right? Who's who? Adam. Adam. Derived from the Hebrew word for earth, Adamah. The root word for both may be connected with Hebrew word for red, that would imply a reddish soil or clay in the area where Adam was created. The belief that the first man was created out of clay was by no means confined to Hebrew mythology. That's why I had mentioned that before. Okay? Because when you start looking at these things here, again, I'm using all the sources that they provided for us. Classical Bible names. Never did they show us this. Adam. Red earth. Red earth. So now, remember the other link before, right? Let me not forget it. Let's go back to it. I want to make sure that we can clear this up real quick. It says here Adam, right? Hold on a second here. Let me go ahead and do this here. Hold on. Where you at? Oh, here it goes right here. Here it goes right here. It says, derived from the Hebrew word earth, Adamah. The root of both words may be connected with the Hebrew word for red. That would imply a reddish soil or clay in the area where Adam was created. So the belief that the first man was created out of clay was by no means confined to the Hebrew mythology, right? By no means was it confined to it. Okay. Let me show you something. Isaiah 64. All right, fam. My bad. I was trying to look for something. So I believe I ended it with Isaiah 64, and that's when the video cut off. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's Isaiah 54. So let me go ahead and get off of this real quick. Isaiah 64. Sorry, Isaiah 64. Where are you at? Isaiah 64, and this is what I was trying to show you. Here it goes right here. Isaiah 64. Verse 8, it says, but now, O Lord, thou art our Father, we are the clay, thou art potter, and we all are work of thy hand. Okay? So now, here's what I want to show you. Watch this. Give me a second here. I gave this real quick. Let's see. Blue Letter Bible. Gen 2. Genesis 2:7. It reads, from the dust of the ground, H127, Adamah. Right? Where are you at? Oh, it's not H127. It's, I believe it's H127 and man. Let's see. Adam. Give me a second. I'm looking for it here. Oh, it's not there. See H119. Me. Where are you? Hold on a second. I just want to show you the translation so that you won't think I'm misleading you guys. Let me go back to Genesis. Gen 2. 7. Give me a second. Let me try to find it. So I started here. Form man from the dust. Let's see. Clay, mud, rubbish, ground. Okay, that's not it. Breath, dust of the ground. Became, let's see, here, 127. And then it says, Adamah, Let me slow down. Adamah, Naphtali, okay? Ground, land, compared to Arabic, skin, smooth, covering. I'm looking for the word Adami. I saw it earlier. Maybe it's in this one. No, but it wouldn't be. Let's see. Here, Adam. Adam. Let's see. If not, I'm going to show you just what I have anyway. So either way, we understand now. Let me see something. Close this up. All right, here goes. I can't find that scripture, but anyways, Adamah, Adami. So as I was saying, why is it in Naphtali? Well, Adamah is a city by the river. As I mentioned in the class, that the clay has to be by a river bank, cannot be too close. So Adamah is Adami, and it's by the river. So I wasn't far off. That's a spiritual thing, brothers and sisters. You know, all the praises to the Most High that He put me as a young kid to deal with clay, or else I would have never even bothered to have looked at, even considered what that meant. And see, this is why you have to exercise every single skill that the Most High has given us, every single one of them. Because if we don't exercise every single skill, then guess what? David and Solomon are ruddy red according to the text. Yeah, that's right. They are. So now we understand what they mean by ruddy. Basically, it's talking about like our people. I have a book, the Great Migration. You guys should get it. It's an interesting book, and it actually mentions us in that sense about how we were the red people. I don't agree entirely to it, but there are some good sections in it. Okay, and other than that, let me see what else I got. I think that's pretty much what I had. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had, brothers and sisters, man. I really appreciate y'all being here with me. Lord willing, we can do this again tomorrow. I did the class early, as I mentioned, because I don't have time later on today. So, but anyhow, I have something to play for y'all. I like this guy's message. He basically talks about like how he kind of went through struggles, and he's able to color pictures. Like, he's able to color now, right? He saw things that were really black or gray. All right. So anyhow, family, shalom. Appreciate y'all. Hey, by the way, you don't know, this is my thorn in the flesh. For me, I have to do this. So it's like a token. It's like a reminder of me, like what's at stake, what I can honestly lose if I pick up again. Okay. So I appreciate y'all being with me, man. I stay sober this way. All right. So I got something to play. Don't leave yet. All right. Here we go.
Quise dar el paso enfrente al dolor, donde había gris empecé a dibujar color. Quise dar el paso enfrente al dolor, donde había gris empecé a dibujar color. Empecé a dibujar color. No puedes rendirte, cargar a los demás con tu dolor. Debes vivir como un luchador, resistirte a perder lo bueno en tu interior, tratar de aportar algo, hacer del mundo algo mejor. Me dejé caer en tus pupilas, me gusta verte que vuelas cuando tú crees que caminas. Ando en los Perseidas, encerrado en la cabina, fabricando artefactos que no imaginan. Las esquinas de mi ser no me dejan ser más grande, pero no voy a caer y a rendirme como un cobarde. Tengo sueños que cumplir, el corazón dentro me arde. Puede que mañana sea tarde, te vi marchar. Cuando me enteré tú ya no estabas. No debí esperar, no debí buscar. No me encontraba, no. quise dar el paso, me enfrenté al dolor. Donde había gris empecé a dibujar color. Empecé a dibujar color. No puedes rendirte, cargar a los demás con tu dolor. Debes vivir como un luchador, resistirte a perder lo bueno en tu interior, tratar de aportar algo, hacer del mundo algo mejor. Te gusta pensar que siempre podrás escapar de la tormenta, pero no puedes saber cuándo vendrá. Temes el dolor, pero alimentas las cosas que te hacen daño y crean inseguridad. Andas con la sensación de ser realidad inmensa, pero te sientes pequeña ante cualquier adversidad. Sigues tu criterio, crees saber lo que otros piensan, pero no eres capaz de comprender su complejidad. Pensar te hará dudar de lo que veas, lo que sientas. Serás la parte de ti que más alimentas. Tendrás que combatir el dolor con todas tus fuerzas para poder amar limpio y no dañar al que está cerca. ¿Cuántas veces me perdí por buscarme donde no era? ¿Cuántos momentos sentí ser de otra tierra, de otra era? Tanto tramo me perdí por correr tras quien no me espera. Tan condicionado por el miedo a que no me quisieran. Cuando el alma vive hostil, el cuerpo busca la manera de fingir, pero no empiezan a surgir fronteras. Barreras que no te dejan seguir, pero te hacen feliz si las superas. Me enfrenté al dolor. Donde había gris empecé a dibujar color. Empecé a dibujar color. No puedes rendirte, cargar a los demás con tu dolor. Debes vivir como un luchador, resistirte a perder lo bueno en tu interior, tratar de aportar algo, hacer del mundo algo mejor. Dar el paso, me enfrenté al dolor. Donde había gris empecé a dibujar color. Empecé a dibujar color. No puedes rendirte, pagar a los demás con tu dolor. Debes vivir como un luchador, resistirte